Let's go Broncos! The Denver Broncos may have quietly made one of the smartest draft picks of the entire 2026 class, and somehow, almost nobody outside of Broncos country is talking about it. While national analysts continue focusing on the biggest first-round names, another rookie is suddenly earning major praise from people who have spent weeks studying every snap from rookie minicamp, OTAs, and mandatory minicamp. And according to one new evaluation, this player isn't just expected to contribute in Denver, he could become one of the biggest steals of the entire draft. What's even more fascinating is that this conversation isn't simply about finding another talented running back. It's about how Sean Payton and the Broncos may have built the perfect long-term plan for one of the most important positions on the offense. A rookie who many believe was overlooked by the rest of the NFL is now being compared to one of Denver's current stars, and if those comparisons prove accurate, the Broncos' rushing attack could become one of the most balanced and dangerous units in football this season. At the same time, the discussion also reveals why keeping J.K. Dobbins healthy may completely change the way Bo Nix and the entire offense operate in 2026. But before we continue, make sure you've already hit the like button if you believe the Broncos' running game is about to surprise the entire NFL this season. And if you're optimistic about Denver's future, comment this right now. Go Broncos! Our running game will dominate in 2026. Now let's get straight into the biggest story. According to the discussion, rookie running back Jonah Coleman has quickly become one of the most talked about sleepers from the entire 2026 draft class. And this isn't simply fan excitement. The discussion referenced a recent evaluation that re-ranked the top rookie sleepers after OTAs, rookie minicamp, and mandatory minicamp, placing Jonah Coleman second on the entire list. That immediately grabs your attention, because Denver already has a crowded running back room. J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, and now Jonah Coleman enters the picture. So why is there so much excitement? According to the discussion, it's because Coleman possesses the complete skill set coaches look for in a modern NFL running back. He protects the quarterback. He catches the football. He consistently falls forward for extra yardage. And perhaps most importantly, he rarely puts the ball in danger. The discussion highlighted an incredible statistic from Coleman's college career. Across 639 career touches, he fumbled only once. Even more impressive, he received 123 career targets and was charged with only one drop. Those numbers immediately suggest reliability. And for a coaching staff that values ball security as much as Sean Payton's does, that becomes an extremely important trait. But reliability isn't the only reason people are becoming excited. According to the discussion, Coleman also demonstrated outstanding production whenever he carried the football. One statistic stood out above all the others. During the 2023 season, Coleman averaged 6.8 yards per carry while outperforming the other running backs on his own team by more than 1.5 yards per attempt. The discussion noted that this type of production places him alongside several highly productive college running backs who posted similar efficiency marks before reaching the NFL. That's exactly why some evaluators now believe multiple teams will eventually regret allowing Jonah Coleman to slide to Denver. And Broncos country, if that's true, the Broncos may have found far more than simply another depth piece. They may have found the future of their running back room. But here's where the conversation becomes even more interesting. According to the discussion, Denver doesn't actually need Jonah Coleman to become the featured back immediately. Quite the opposite. His rookie role could be much more strategic. Instead of carrying the offense, Coleman can gradually contribute while learning behind J.K. Dobbins, giving Denver another dependable option without placing enormous pressure on a first-year player. And that's exactly where this story begins connecting to the Broncos' much bigger offensive plan. Because according to the discussion, keeping J.K. Dobbins healthy may ultimately become one of the most important factors determining how successful Denver's offense becomes this season. Because when you look deeper into the discussion, it becomes obvious that this isn't simply about adding another talented rookie to the roster. It's about building a complete running back room. According to the discussion, Sean Payton and the Broncos didn't draft Jonah Coleman because they expected him to immediately replace J.K. Dobbins. They drafted him because they believe he perfectly complements what Denver already has. That distinction is incredibly important. The conversation repeatedly emphasized that Dobbins remains the lead back entering the season. Nothing about Coleman's arrival changes that. Instead, the rookie gives Denver another reliable option capable of contributing without forcing the offense to overload Dobbins with touches every single week. And honestly, Broncos country, that may be one of the smartest parts of this entire plan. Because everyone knows what J.K. Dobbins can do when he's healthy. The discussion revisited several advanced metrics from last season that illustrated just how valuable he was to Denver's offense. his efficiency, his explosive runs, his ability to generate yards after contact. Those weren't just good numbers. They placed him among many of the league's most productive running backs before his season came to an end. But perhaps the biggest takeaway wasn't about individual statistics. It was about the effect Dobbins had on the offense as a whole. According to the discussion, Denver's offensive identity changed dramatically after Dobbins was no longer available. The Broncos became significantly more pass-heavy on early downs, forcing Bo Nix to throw more often because the running game was no longer producing the same consistent results. That's where Jonah Coleman could become such an important addition. Not because he has to duplicate everything Dobbins does, but because he can help preserve him throughout the season. The discussion even described Coleman almost like an insurance policy. Someone capable of absorbing meaningful carries. Someone who can contribute in pass protection. Someone who catches the football naturally. Someone coaches trust to protect possession. All of those responsibilities reduce pressure on the starting running back. Then came one of the most fascinating comparisons in the entire discussion. The conversation pointed to Coleman's outstanding production on first down rushing attempts throughout his college career. According to the statistics presented, Coleman averaged nearly 6 yards per carry on first downs over the course of his collegiate career. Then the discussion compared those numbers directly to J.K. Dobbins' first down production from last season. The similarities were striking. That comparison helped support the idea that Denver intentionally identified a player whose running style closely resembles the veteran already leading the backfield. And if that's true, this wasn't simply a draft selection. It was succession planning. The discussion even referenced comments indicating that the coaching staff views Dobbins as an ideal mentor for Coleman, allowing the rookie to learn from a player with a very similar style while gradually expanding his own role within the offense. That's exactly how successful organizations develop young talent. They don't rush prospects before they're ready. They place them in situations where they can succeed. They surround them with experienced veterans, and they allow development to happen naturally. Now let's talk about Bo Nix. Because according to the discussion, the benefits of a healthier running game extend far beyond the running backs themselves. The conversation argued that one of the biggest criticisms directed toward Bo Nix last season involved how frequently he checked the football down underneath. But the discussion also challenged that criticism. The point made was simple. When the running game struggles, quarterbacks naturally throw more short passes to keep the offense moving. That's not necessarily a weakness. It's often a reflection of game circumstances. The belief presented is that if J.K. Dobbins stays healthy and Jonah Coleman successfully contributes throughout the season, Denver won't need to ask Bo Nix to throw as often as it did during stretches last year. Instead of relying on 40 passing attempts every week, the Broncos could play a much more balanced style of football. More rushing attempts, more manageable situations on early downs, more play-action opportunities, more favorable passing windows, and ultimately, a more efficient offense overall. When you put every piece of this discussion together, a clear strategy begins to emerge. The Broncos aren't simply hoping their running game improves. They're actively building depth, protecting their starter, developing the future, and creating an offensive structure that benefits everyone, from the running backs to Bo Nix himself. If Jonah Coleman develops the way many evaluators now expect, and if J.K. Dobbins stays healthy over the course of the season, Denver may have quietly assembled one of the deepest and most complete running back rooms in the NFL. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Denver Broncos news and updates. And now I want to hear from Broncos country. Do you believe Jonah Coleman will become one of the biggest steals of the 2026 NFL draft? Or do you think his biggest impact will come from helping keep J.K. Dobbins fresh throughout the season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. ***.